What's up with it, y'all? It's neighborhood Nipsey Hussle. Right now we standing on the corner of Crenshaw and Slauson in the Crenshaw district on the west side. Like my homeboy JP would say, this is my playground, so follow me.
The gravity of the passing of Nipsey Hussle was felt by everyone who was touched by his music, his message, and his presence. But in the wake of his death, his hometown neighborhood of Crenshaw and the surrounding LA areas felt the loss immensely, so much so that the grief could have led to many different paths. Two community members made sure that the path they chose to channel their grief into embodied the very essence of the phrase, "The marathon continues." Choosing to honor Nipsey through his love of knowledge and reading, Joe Gardina and Maria Gates started up the Nipsey Hussle Book Club in Leimert Park. For the past 10 months, they've been holding public meetings at Hair and Coffee, going through books that Nipsey notoriously talked about throughout his life. Not only is it a way for them to stay connected to the man that uplifted lives by sharing his knowledge, but it's an outlet that will continue to build Nipsey's legacy through fellowship and bonding that will shape future generations to come. It really sounds like you were the driving force behind building up this club. So what was that passion and that fire behind this decision to build up this book club?
The day Nipsey passed away, I was actually on Crenshaw, like right over here at Taco Mill. They were yelling, saying, hey, Nipsey was shot. And some people, the vibe changed, obviously. And then maybe I think an hour later, they were saying, he's passed. And the energy shifted. So it was like, this is gonna be something where this community, or our community, is going to be in mourning for a very long time. This kind of death of this capacity could really go either way. So some people can either take it and make it constructive. Some people can make it destructive, depending on how they choose to express their grief. So I was sitting there and I was like, I have to do something that I think would help my neighborhood be constructive.
What about your community would you say was like, no, we need to do this?
It was Nip. It was his death. That was it. I was nervous. I was super this is heartbreaking. What are we gonna do? And my homegirl Maria, spiritual homegirl, she hits me up. She's like, Joe, I gotta do something. I was like, I'm with it. Whatever you wanna do, I'm with it. She's like, all right, let's do a book club. He read all these books. Let's do a book club. I was like, perfect. This has actually changed my life. The book club is more than just reading. It's about us getting together and having community and talking and, putting all the information that we're gaining, put it into a plan of action.
What Nipsey came to realize was that how he was trying to do it was not working because that could not be sustained in this system. So what do? I buy the property that I'm renting out of. I start the nonprofit, and then I start to teach the community what entrepreneurship looks like, what tax breaks look like, what setting a nonprofit up look like, and how you get the government to pay for the resources you're trying to give to that community.
I would just say we gotta be as autonomous as possible as Black entrepreneurs.
Even when we go back to Martin Luther King, before they assassinated him, he started talking about the economic power, the power of being financially free. Of having financial freedom, so that's key.
We've been able to take the spirit of Nipsey Hussle, which in the spirit of community in which he embodied, and bring those together and just share different ideas. It's much more than a book club. We have been able to form bonds. We're doing things outside of the book club together, so it's been really phenomenal for me.
I remember watching Nipsey's memorial, and Lauren London said grief is the final act of love, and how impactful I felt that statement was.
We know what Nip meant to us. We lost an incredible soul. We lost someone very rare to us, and we lost a real one. And we won't ever be the same. But in Hussle's words, because he used to always say this, the game is gonna test you, never fold. Stay 10 toes down. It's not on you, it's in you. And what's in you, they can't take away.
For me personally, what the book club has done is, it's sort of like community therapy, right? It's like going to a group therapy session. So not only are we, reading and learning and growing, but we have a collective hurt that I think we've been able to grow past because we have each other. And so we not only, we read books and we talk about that, but we also have the opportunity to get to know each other personally and invest in what their individual ventures are.
I brought up the book club to one of my cousins. He was like, man, Nipsey can read all those books. I was like, look, normally I would probably agree with you, but you can hear it in his conversation because we saw what it created. Like, that's a self-taught man. He didn't graduate from high school.
Have you seen the books that you guys have gone over help all of the members grow?
I mean, I would love to say yes. I feel like they have, but personally, I for sure have seen the growth in myself. I know it was an interview Nipsey had. He was just talking about, just brick by brick, laying those bricks every day. Every day, just adding to it, having that faith, having that belief, walking in it, putting the effort into it.
Think about these systems that we created. Previously, like these ecosystems of self-sufficiency, like the Black Panther, who are super self-sufficient and have their own like autonomy within society. But my thinking is, what could we do more than that as a community?
I heard a song, I was like, oh, he's different. This is early on. This is Bullets Ain't Got No Names, I think volume 3. He discusses like the rival gangs. He's like, yeah, we're all these different gangs, but so what? We still Black. Like, we still got to, this is still our community. I'm like, wow. So you're not just that. You're more than that.
Everybody talked about how cool he was here already. So that kind of gave me a sense of pride being in Crenshaw. We had a hero. And I noticed that he was one of very few rappers talking about books. Like, you can literally pull up an interview and you'll hear at least one book that he's read. And I was like, yo, this is kind of dope. And the more I started researching what he did in the community, I was like, okay, Nipsey is a dude that I can get behind, with my dollar.
And had you read some of the books that he had talked about prior to this book club, or?
Yes, okay. I read Queen Afua, Sacred Woman, so when I saw that, I was like, oh, we gotta touch that one. Way of the Superior Man, that was our first book. I like that one too. So knowing that we had, me, him, and Joe, we all had read some similar books, I'm like, I trust Nipsey's taste in books off top. So it just made it very easy to kind of just say, okay, well, let's just bring it to everybody else.
Which one of those has impacted your life the most, would you say?
I think Powernomics has stuck with me the longest. I think because when we live in a community that's constantly changing like this one, you start to see the disparity between different groups in our communities. It kind of makes you not really second guess, but just kind of wonder, how did we get here? And how can we change that? And Powernomics is about economic growth and development and kind of getting to the root of why our community or our people as Black people have kind of been in the situation we've been financially and how we can grow from that.
I thought about the fact that we always have to think about our Blackness daily. Like, I don't know anybody else who thinks about their race as much as we have to, like, throughout the day.
You guys are talking about the books, but you're here as a community and you're talking about different issues that you have to deal with. So what are some specific issues that have maybe come to light as a direct result of meeting and gathering here with the book club?
What hasn't come up? The respect between men and women, that's come up. How we should treat each other, how we should actually build Black communities and not neighborhoods. That was Powernomics. Kind of checking yourself with the subconscious mind with 3 magic words, talking about some of the things that we do individually that gets in our own way. So kind of peeling back layers within ourselves. Also gentrification, that has come up a lot.
Do you think that keeping these meetings and keeping the book club going, another 10 books is going to help, kind of resolve those issues that people are afraid of losing their sense of community, their city? Do you think that's gonna help in a way, and how?
I guess the way that I think the book club could help with those issues is if people understand that they're there and that they do have the power within themselves to make an individual effort to do their part to change whatever they do not like in the world.
That's the most devastating thing with growing up Black. It's like the strip of like a childhood for the most part. Like, that's the foundation of the most formative years of what you're gonna be for the rest of your life.
Like, even in the Black movement, whenever something happens and they kill off one of our so-called leaders, then the movement dies. That's because it's only a moment. It's not truly a movement. The movement continues to move forward even after that person is gone.
Nipsey's voice is so important, man. He was, the information has to come from the right source. Like, I can say it all day. My dad, my mom, grandparents can say the same stuff that Nipsey Hussle was saying. There's elders in this neighborhood who are very informed, but you're not gonna listen to them because you don't want to hear it from that source. That authoritative figure is just not happening. But Nipsey's from the hood. He's a Crip. This is the cool guy. Who had more swag than Nip? And he starts telling you like who you are. And, starts giving you a plan. Starts telling you how important reading and education is, and law of attraction, having faith, having a purpose, having deliberate thoughts. Like, what Crip is telling you this?
It seems like people are becoming more proactive about their individual situations in terms of understanding entrepreneurship, understanding ownership, also the importance of knowledge, the acquisition of knowledge, because you can't expect to do things and progress if you don't empower yourself. So I noticed a lot of people are getting more aggressive with their pursuit of betterment. So.
One of my favorite quotes, one of the Dalai Lama said, know the rules well so you can break them effectively.
I love this community, but there's been a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of beautiful people here, man. There's a lot of people to be inspired by, to come out of all the tragedy and still blossom. And I feel like we are starting to understand how important we are. This community is starting to understand how important the people are, and we're starting to appreciate ourselves. And I want to keep that going.
Often when you see a lot of people who have reached that level of success, they only glorify the success, but Nip, he got down and told the realities of it, the uncertainties. He told you, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but guess what? I believe in what I'm doing, and it's from my heart. And guess what? I'm not gonna give in, or I'm not gonna sell out my vision and my dream. But he showed no matter what, that you have to continue with your dream, your passion, and let your heart guide you.
And Nipsey is that driving force to continue to keep going. And I'm just excited that, the world is getting to understand what he was trying to do.
You got this dude who you respect him because he's with it. He's not backing down. He's a gangbanger. He has a history, all that. But at the same time, he's growing. He's growing out of it, but he's not leaving out of it. Because there's a lot of people who've grown out of the gangbanging and they just kind of left it behind, left the people behind. He did not do that. He said, I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna give you these jewels. And he was very much a man of the people. And that, when you see somebody at that, in that stature, do what he did, it trickles down.